What's up, traders? Welcome to my YouTube channel TFW Trades for the Week. So what I'm gonna do is give you based on my analysis, the pairs which I'm interested in trading the upcoming week, right? But before you take a trade, please do your own analysis and have a safe trading. Let's dive into it. So the first pair is USD/JPY. USD/JPY on the weekly we are bullish. High high, high low, high low, high high, right? So we have broken above the previous high high. Now this is the current high high, and that's why we are bullish, right? Same on the daily as well. We are indeed bullish. This was the previous high high, high low, and now price has broken above the previous high high, right? So this is also bullish. And also the 4-hour is bullish as well because it has broken above the previous high high, right? So what are we waiting for here is to buy because the price is at area of interest. You will be considering the area of interest if it has minimum of 3 touches. One touch, right? If we go back, then 2 touch, 3 touch, sorry, 4 touch, 5 touch, okay, there's more, 6 touch, 7, 8. So you should have minimum of 3 touches, but maximum can be whatever, right? So we got 8 touches over here. So this is a valid area of interest. Let me just delete that. Right, so price is already at the area of interest. This line is basically around psychological level, you know, where around psychological level is basically where price usually reacts from, right? So it has reacted here as well. If we go back, here as well, it has reacted so many times, here as well, look, here as well, right? So this is basically around psychological level. So now what we are looking for to go on the smaller time frames like 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, and give us our entry signal, right? Entry signal is the engulfing candle basically. So what engulfing candle is, if you suppose you have 2 candles, right? Let's make this one red. Oops. Red, and this one is blue, right? So if the next candle is bigger than the previous one, right, it's basically engulfed the last red candle fully to it. So this is basically an engulfing candle, right? It has engulfed the previous candle. So that's what we are waiting for on the smaller time frames to give us an entry signal, which is engulfing candle. This is the engulfing candle. Look, a small red candle engulfed by a big blue candle. So this is basically an engulfing candle, right? Next one, GBP CAD. If we look at the weekly time frame, weekly time frame is bearish. Why? Because we consider from here high low, high high, high low, high high. Price has broken below the previous, sorry, my bad, let me do it again. This was the lower high, lower low. Price has break above the previous lower high, so now this is the new higher high and this is the new high low, right? Price has broken above again from the previous high high, so this is the new high high and this was the new high low. Now price has broken below the previous high low, so now this becomes the new lower high and this becomes the new lower low, and that's why the weekly is bearish, right? Right, moving on to the daily. It's again, daily is bearish. Lower high, lower low, lower high. Price has broken above the previous lower high, so this is the high high and this is the high low. Once again, high high, high low. Price has broken below the previous high low, so now this is the new lower high and this is the new lower low. So indeed the price is bearish on daily as well. Just delete that. Okay, so now what we are waiting for, price to come back to our area of interest and then sell. Also, price on the 4 hour is also bearish. This was the previous high low, high high. Price has broken below the previous high low, so now the price on the 4 hour is also bearish, right? Okay, right, the next one is Euro USD. Weekly is bullish. Why? Because this is the previous high low and this is the this is the current high low and this is the current high high. Whatever the price do in between, we don't care, right? So whatever the price do in between this point and this point, we don't care. Price is still bullish on the weekly. Let me just delete that as well. We go to the daily. Price is bullish as well. Right, yeah, this was the previous this was the previous lower high. Price has broken above the previous higher lower high, so now this is the high high and this is the high low. Price is bullish. So what we are waiting for is to price to come back to this area, which is it's already there, or here. If we don't get our entry signal here, right, then we'll wait for the price to come to this area and then look for the entry signal and then buy. Okay, moving on to the next one, GBP CHF. Right, so I want to mention one thing. On the previous, if you look at the price, weekly was bullish, daily was bullish, and 4 hour was bullish. Here on the GBP CAD, weekly was bearish, daily was bearish, 4 hour was bearish. All three time frames are in sync. Euro USD was weekly was bullish, daily was bullish, 4 hour was bearish, right? So in order to take a trade, what we want is 2 consecutive time frames in sync. So here weekly was bullish, daily was bullish, and 4 hour was bearish, right? Let me make this red, right? So weekly was bullish, weekly is bullish, daily is bullish, and 4 hour is bearish. But we have two consecutive time frames in sync. So consecutive means weekly bullish, daily bullish. This is fine, but just for an example, if the daily was bearish, and 4 hour was bullish, now weekly and 4 hour is bullish, yeah, and daily is bearish. So now we are not interested in that trade anymore, because the two consecutive time frames are not in sync, right? Just for an example. But at the moment we got two consecutive weekly and daily in sync. 4 hour is bearish, is fine, right? So because in GBP CHF, now what we have is we have weekly bearish, but daily and 4 hour is bullish. So we are good to go, right? So we want two consecutive time frames in sync, either weekly or daily or bullish, not weekly or 4 hour in sync. We don't want to take that trade. Okay, so in GBP CHF, weekly is bearish. Why? Because this was the so this was the let me make this blue. It's okay, I'll do it later. Anyways, weekly lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and price is here at the moment. Let me make this black, it will be more visible, right? So we got our lower high here and lower low here. So price is still, it has not broken below or above the previous high and lows. So the market is still bearish on weekly. Price is bullish on daily. Why? Because this was the let's start from here. This was the lower high. Price has broken above the previous lower high. So now this is the low high, right? Not broken. Now it has broken below the previous. This one, previous lower high, the lower low. So now it's bearish, right? So this becomes the lower high. This becomes the lower low. Price has broken above the previous lower high, so this is the new high, and this is the new high low. Price has broken again from the previous high, so it's still now it's still bullish, right? So price on daily time frame is bullish, and 4 hour is also bullish. So what we are waiting for is price to come back to the area of interest and then buy. Okay. Also, if you invert the chart, what we see here is one of the patterns in trading, which is left head, right shoulder. So now what we are waiting for, the price to come back to the neckline. This is the neckline, yeah. So price to come back to the neckline and then buy. Don't get confused, I have inverted this chart, that's why I said buy. So basically this is the actual chart. So weekly is bullish, weekly is bearish, daily is bullish, and 4 hour is bullish. So we're just waiting for the price to come back to area of interest and then buy. Moving on to the next one, GBP USD. Weekly is bullish, daily is bullish, and 4-hour is bullish. If we go to the weekly, and why is it bullish? Because this was the previous lower, not the previous, this lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price has broken above the previous lower high. So now this becomes the higher high. This becomes the higher high, and this becomes the higher low. Higher high, higher low, right? If we look at the daily one, the price is bullish. Why? Because this was the previous lower high, and this was the previous lower low. Price has broken above the previous lower high, so now the price is bullish, right? And also the 4-hour is bullish because this is the higher high and this is the high low. Price has not broken below the previous high low, right? So the market is in between these 2 points, which is the high high and the high low. So the price is still bullish. So what we are waiting for is basically the price is at the area of interest. This is also an area of interest. So if we get an entry signal on the lower time frame, which is an engulfing candle is basically this, and it happens like almost everywhere. So engulfing candle is basically which engulfs the previous candle. So this is a small red candle engulfed by a big blue candle, right? It happened here, it happens here, right? If we go back, it has happened here, happened here, happened here, happened here. So it happens all the time, right? But where we're gonna look at the engulfing candle is at our area of interest, right? So it should happen on the lower time frames at the area of interest. But like I said, please do your analysis and then take a trade, because before you take a trade, a lot of things comes into play. So I'm just giving you an overview which I'm interested on for the upcoming week. Next is the NZD USD. If we go to the weekly is bullish. This was the previous lower high, lower low. Price has broken above the previous lower high. So now this becomes the high high and this becomes the high low. Right, so weekly is bullish, daily is also bullish. Lower high, lower low, price breaks above the previous lower high and now it's bullish. 4-hour bullish as well. This was the previous high high, high low. Price has broken above the previous high high, this one, and now this becomes the high high and this becomes the low high low, right? What we are waiting for is price to come back to any of these areas. If we get our signal here, we'll buy. Otherwise, we'll wait for the price to come to this area, give us our entry signal and then buy, or it come to this area and then buy. So we'll see how it goes in the coming week, right? Oh, actually, do you guys know what this line means? This line is here. If you go to the previous ones, this line is here, here, here as well, here as well, here as well. Delete that. and here as well. So this is basically, this line is considered to be around psychological level. Why? So basically round psychological is the price which round psychological level is the level where the price seems to react from. It has reacted here, it has reacted here several times, reacted again, right? Almost there as well. If we go back to the previous charts, it has reacted several times, right? So round psychological is the level where the price usually reacts from. This is one of the confluences which I will talk about sometime in the future, not today. Right, moving on to the next one, GBP NZD. Weekly is bullish, daily is bearish, and 4 hour is bullish. Now we should not be interested in this trade. Let me explain you why. Because weekly is bullish, right? Daily is bearish and 4 hour is bullish. Right, let me turn this blue. And right, so now here, this is one of the examples which you should not be interested in, because the two consecutive time frames are not in sync. Weekly bullish, daily bearish, not in sync. Daily bearish, 4 hour bullish, not in sync. So we should not be interested in this trade. I'm only interested because weekly out of these three is the highest time frame, right? And we are currently at the weekly area of interest. Weekly area of interest, which has 1, 2, 3 touches. So an area interest should have 3 touches, minimum of 3 touches, maximum it can be whatever number, but we are on weekly area of interest. So I just want to see what the price does when it comes to the weekly area of interest, right? So it's just for basically reviewing and all. What happens when it comes to the weekly area of interest? What happens to the daily price? Will it go bullish? Then maybe we are interested in taking the trades, because then it will be, weekly will be bullish, daily will be bullish, then we can consider it, to take a trade on this. But at the moment, you should not be interested on this trade. Let's not get confused and all. Let's move on to the next one. So here, weekly is bearish. This was the lower high, lower low, and the price is still under it, still in between the previous lower high and previous lower low, right? So price is still in between, it has not broken above or below. So this is the lower high, this is the lower low, and the market is still bearish. Moving on to the daily is also bearish. Why? Because it was bullish before when it was here. High low, high high, high low, high high. Now price has broken below the previous high low, so now the price is bearish. Same on the 4 hour time frame. If you want to have a look, price was bullish till here. This was the high low, this was the high high. Price has broken below the the previous higher low. So the price is bearish, right? So now what we're gonna wait for is price to come back to this area of interest and then sell. Okay, moving on to the next one. CAD JPY weekly is bullish. We go to the weekly. Weekly is super bullish actually, right? Daily is bullish as well. High low, high high. Price. Let me just bring this up. So high low, high high, consolidation, and price has broken above the previous high high, right? So now what we are waiting for is price to come back to this area and then buy. If we look at the touches, so we have 1, 2, 3, we go back 4, 5, 6, so 6 touches, 7 or 8ish as well, but 6 is fine. Should be minimum of 3 touches at our area of interest is to consider to be an area of interest, and maximum it can be whatever. So these are my trades of the week, which I'm interested. But again, before you take any trade, please do your own analysis. And that's all. Today is 6th of December, Saturday, and market's gonna open tomorrow, Sunday night in the UK, right? But we don't take trades on Sundays, so we're gonna wait for the London session on Monday before we take any trade, and then we'll see how the market's doing, and then we'll take some trades. Okay, so these are my pairs for the week. Hope you have learned something, and I'll try to post my videos on every Saturday for the upcoming week, which I'm gonna interested in. But also remember this, that this is the last month of the year, December, so there's gonna be like a lot of things happening in the market, which can be more volatile or maybe less volatile. There's gonna be a lot of holidays since it's the last month of the year, so we should be careful while we take a trade. We should only take our trade if all the confluences should meet the criteria, right? So with all this, I'll see you guys again sometime, and actually I'll see you guys next week, and have a safe trading. Thank you. Bye bye.